Okay, for real, whoever invented dating apps needs to have something horribly inconvenient happen to them. Ugh. So how's everyone doing today? Good morning, happy Tuesday, everyone. Oh, trust me, it'll be pretty obvious what my low is in a moment. Because I've been silent about this sort of thing for a while now, but I should probably bring this to light. What's my high? Well, my high is I got to see my folks yesterday, and my act of kindness was I emptied the dehumidifier for my dad. Okay, so, full disclosure, for those of you who probably don't already know, I currently am single. And I've been single since December of 2007. That was the one and only time I ever had a girlfriend. And yeah, I know, right? I got my first kiss out of that though. That was pretty cool. Anyway. And the one thing I told myself I'd never do was use a dating app. Because honestly, listen, I'm aware of the fact that there's lots of great people out there, especially the type of people that, are nice enough who you want to spend the rest of your life with. And that's great. That's beautiful. And thanks to stuff like the internet and social media, that big world that we keep hearing about doesn't seem so big anymore. And that's great. But if it comes to being in a relationship, especially in a relationship that you want to commit to, there really is nothing better than just seeing said person in person and getting to know them. Like hearing their voice. Getting to know what their likes and dislikes are. Stuff like that. Like, that's real. That's honest. And honestly, it's the one thing that, is keeping me going in terms of, staying positive in life. Well, one of the things, I guess. But a while ago, I finally caved. And I got a dating app. Not going to say which one, but I've been using this particular dating app on and off for probably a good 3 or 4 years. And I want to make one thing abundantly clear. I should probably tell you that I'm straight, so, and you can set your, like, what you're looking for, your preferences on the app, Obviously, I'm a guy looking to be with a woman, you can do the age thing, their height, pretty much basic stuff. And that's fine. And I have met women on there, but it doesn't really last that long. Mostly because they all happen to be just a little too far away from here. It's rare that you really find anyone local, like, doing dating apps, I guess. And that's not to say dating apps don't work. In fact, I actually know someone who actually met their spouse on eHarmony of all things. Yeah, remember eHarmony? Is eHarmony even still a thing anymore? Because I never hear about it. Sadly, said spouse had passed away because they were very sick. But the point is, they found love. So, yeah, dating sites, dating apps, they do work. They do. But I'll be honest, like, while it's nice being able to talk to people, it does kind of stink that stuff like being too far away, or just the fact that both of us are busy and we can't really have time to speak to each other, that's a bummer. But the other day, I think might have been the final straw for me. So, now granted, I kind of should have seen this coming, but, maybe, why not? Maybe if I just explain a couple things, maybe it'll work. So, let's get this out of the way. And I have said this before, but for those of you out there who don't already know, I actually voted for Donald Trump this last election. I did. I did. You want to be mad? Yes. Be mad at me if you want to be. Just please understand that millions of other people in our nation voted for Donald Trump to be president of the United States. Not just me. Okay? So, you can be mad at me if you want, but that's not going to solve your problem. It's really not going to solve your problem. So, the other day, I matched with this one girl who, on her profile, said, well, actually, there are three things she said she wouldn't do. She doesn't eat meat, but she said it's okay if you do. So, her not eating meat thing, that's fine. Okay. I like vegetables too. All right. I don't listen to country music. Again, this is her profile. Which I like country music, but music's subjective. Just because I like country music, that doesn't mean whoever I'm with likes to. It's fine. And the last thing she had in there was, I don't support MAGA, which stands for Make America Great Again, which was Donald Trump's campaign slogan. And I'll never actually forget when MAGA was announced as his campaign slogan. Its popularity took off like a rocket. They were Make America Great Again hats, Make America Great Again t-shirts, merchandise, Listen, you can say a lot of mean things about Donald Trump, but you gotta admit, when it comes to being a businessman, you're hard-pressed to find anyone of equal or greater value. So with that said, yes, I voted for Donald Trump, but if you've known me or watched me for any given period of time, then you know for a fact I'm not MAGA. I do not own any MAGA merchandise. I have never been so much. I don't think I even know anyone. I don't think I've even seen MAGA merchandise in person. Much less ever been to a rally. I wouldn't even know where they are, nor would I know how to get there. Plus, even if I had the option, I don't think I'd go. So, yeah, I voted for Trump, but I'm not MAGA. And as I'm talking to this girl yesterday, again, we're really just messaging each other, she makes a quip about, Donald Trump. Okay, come on. Every president throughout history has been made fun of to some capacity. So making fun of Donald Trump, that's nothing new. And I had to be honest and tell her that I did vote for Trump in actually both elections. He got to be president of the United States. So, yes, I did vote for Trump. And when I did that, I immediately said, please don't be mad, I am not MAGA. Literally what I just said a second ago. I don't own any MAGA merch. I've never been to a rally, all that. So I've never done any of those things. Frankly, I just voted for Trump because I always vote Republican. That's literally my only reason why I voted for him, if anything. Because let's be real here. Whoever we vote for, being president of the United States really is not an easy job. And somebody out there is going to say you're doing a horrible job and, they can do the job better than you can. Stuff like, you know what? In some ways, it's no different from being a coach in the NFL. That's what it is. And here's the thing. There have been far worse people who were actually much less restrained than Donald Trump is now, and they got to be president of the United States. Oh yeah, we've had womanizers. We've had drunks. We've had straight crooks in the White House. There was a period of time after the Civil War when, and I'll never forget this because I learned this in 8th grade social studies, I remember it to this day, Abraham Lincoln's number one priority after the Civil War, during the Reconstruction, was to preserve the Union. And for a good while, virtually every president after Lincoln pretty much did the opposite of that. Keep in mind, you got people complaining about Donald Trump, but I can assure you, we've had far worse in office. Okay? We did. And this girl who I'm talking to was completely convinced that just because I voted for Trump, I am the problem. I automatically believe everything that, a person who supports Make America Great Again believes and stuff like that. Which, honestly, no, I don't. I mean, some things I do agree with, some things I don't. I'm not going to get into that here. Honestly, I've met many extraordinary people in my life. Good and bad. However, my overall opinion of them was never in any way because of what their political beliefs are. In fact, only one time have I ever truly disliked someone that was leaning left. And my dislike of this person had nothing to do with the fact that they were leaning left. In fact, it had nothing to do with the fact that they also just happened to be a Philadelphia Eagles fan. I extremely disliked this person because they were a gigantic asshole. That's why I dislike them. The fact that they happen to be left, and again, an Eagles fan, that's a coincidence and nothing more. Granted, this is the type of... I've shared this story before, but for those of you who don't know, objectively, the absolute worst teacher I ever had was a teacher I had at Trinity Pauling, who, thank God, is not there anymore. And yes, this is the person I just mentioned who was a Philadelphia Eagles fan and really leaned left. And here's the thing. You normally see people who lean left and they have kind of a stereotypical appearance of kind of being, weak, quote unquote, kind of, hippie, peace, love type sort of thing, whatever. That wasn't this guy. Imagine someone who's as big and imposing as I am right now. Yeah, I'm 6'4". So imagine someone as big and imposing as I am. He happened to be one of the football coaches for Trinity Pauling. And to make matters worse, because he's the teacher and I'm the student, I have to listen to what listen and do whatever he says, or I get in trouble. Including putting up with the fact that this teacher legit said to me in front of everyone in the classroom, Cutler, shut up. You started out great earlier this year, and now all you do is say stupid shit. Those were his exact words to me in front of everyone in that class. And keep in mind, my parents at the time spent a lot of money for me to go to Trinity Pauling for a year. And to have that happen to me, you know what? It took all I had for me not to walk out of that room immediately afterwards. And to this day, I wish I did. I wish I just walked right out of that room. Because for a teacher to disrespect a student like that, oh my God. Again, as far as I know, he's not at Trinity Pauling anymore, which thank Christ. Because seriously, if I went back to Trinity Pauling and he happened to be there, I think I would leave immediately. That's how horrible this person was. But again, this guy's just a giant asshole. The fact he leans left, I mean, it doesn't do him any favors, but that's not the reason why I dislike him. Oh my gosh. So yeah, all this is a way of saying, listen, whoever you vote for in any election, whatever side you lean on, be it right, left, or maybe you believe in horseshoe theory, which actually I kind of believe. You know, the people of the far left and the people of the far right have more in common with one another than those who are closer to the middle. That's horseshoe theory. You know, whatever your political beliefs are, just because you vote for, you know, someone that's not the person someone else voted for, that doesn't make them a bad person. Quite the contrary. In fact, there have been plenty of people I've seen who lean to the left who are great people that I am friends with. You know what? This reminds me. One of my all-time favorite comedians is Brad Williams, a little person comic. And in his latest stand-up special, he said, don't surround yourself with people who think like you. Surround yourself with people who challenge you. Because maybe they could make you see things in a different light. I mean, you don't have to completely change who you are, but be open. Listen to people. Challenge yourself by being around people who would otherwise challenge you. Get out of your comfort zone. Get to know people better. Seriously, Brad Williams' stand-up comedy is really good. Shout out to Brad Williams. So yeah, all this to say is dating apps are stupid. And can you tell I'm not really the best at talking about politics? Because I'm not. So yeah, that's my rant for the day. And I'm just bummed. Because here's the thing, like, I tried telling this girl on the app, on the dating app, like, that, yeah, I voted for Trump, but I'm not, like, personality-wise, I'm not, like, one of those crazy people out there. I like to believe that I'm pretty sane in comparison to a lot of other crazy conspiracy theorists out there. You know, but that's just me. Honestly, people are going to think whatever they want to think, and, you know, there's not a whole lot you can really do about it. You know, there's never going to be a full agreement on who should be in office. There's never going to be, like, seriously, I think the one thing everyone, no matter what side they lean on, agree on two things. And that's actually a few things we can all agree. I mean, we're all gonna, you know what? We're all gonna eat, we're all gonna die, and we're all gonna have to pay for taxes. And cancer sucks. Like, off the top of my head, those are four things I think everybody agrees on. Oh, we all gotta breathe oxygen too, so that's five things. So there you go. Yeah, sorry for this rant, but man, I mean, no, listen, dating apps are stupid, even the one I'm using, and sure, I'm still probably going to continue to use this app just in case I can't really find anyone local, but I'm just bummed that this girl wouldn't take the time to get to know me better simply because I voted for Trump. And I want to make one thing clear. I don't regret voting for Trump. But I would be remiss if I didn't say that, you know, a lot of people I know have lost friendships over the last election we had. And I only hope I don't lose anyone either. So, sorry this video is kind of on the bummed out negative side. But I hope someone out there liked it. And if you did, feel free to like, subscribe, and, you know, I'm still humble I made this video for all of you guys to watch and enjoy. I hope we have a wonderful Tuesday. And remember, if any of you guys want to talk, just please don't talk about politics right now. I'm not in the mood. I'll listen to whatever you have to say, and I'll always be there to have your back. So take care and make good choices. 607 all day, baby.